Oh, hey. Hey, it's you. And it's me. And we're here today. Are we here today? Why is the audio so low? Good gravy. Hello? Is that better? Is that better? That sounds better. Oh, gosh. Here we are. On a snow day. At the comic shop. 112 East Bridge Street. The comic shop. And I really don't want to work. So I'm just going to hang out for a bit and see if anybody shows up to the store. And if they don't, I'm going to turn this up a little bit more. If they don't, I'm just going to go home. And that's going to be my day. At the comic shop. 112 East Bridge Street. The comic shop. Uh, what's going on at the comic shop? I don't know. We're just all burnt out. All we do is work. Not all we do is work, but kind of all we do is work. Um, it's been a nonstop cavalcade. Is that a correct word of events here at the comic shop? We had our 30th anniversary event. We had a signing with Aaron Z. Lee, not Aaron Z. Tree, indoor plant, Aaron Z. Lee, local comic artist, as well as Jonathan Ashline. Oh, is somebody coming in? Look at that. I started a podcast and somebody came in the door. I'll be right back. Oh, and we're back. Somebody, we didn't make any money. We just gave somebody money to buy their Magic cards because that's what would happen on a snow day. Is that we'll just give people money for Magic cards. They don't want to buy anything, which is okay. But Magic is so weird. I hate Magic. I used to love Magic. I feel like this is my last rambly thing that I did too. I started playing Magic when I was in seventh grade, which is like the 1940s. Um, I was on the modified soccer team, and I was a terrible soccer player, but I like soccer. I still like soccer, or football, or whatever you want to call it. And one of the kids on the soccer team, Nick Gaudino, um, knew I was into comics. And for whatever reason, comics and Magic had a weird symbiotic relationship. Maybe symbiotic's the wrong word. When Magic first rolled out, and I still don't understand what that was, like why it went that distribution route. Although I guess maybe comic shops and hobby shops were kind of synonymous. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, Nick Gaudino asked me. He says, "So I know you're into comics. Do you play Magic? Because Magic's at the comic shop. Not this comic shop. It was in Rochester." And so I lied, like I always do, and said, "Yes, of course I play Magic." And he said, "Oh, well, after soccer practice, you should come over to my house and we can play Magic." I was like, "Oh, that sounds great." This volume still sounds low, but I got it cranked up really high for some reason. I don't know. So anyway, soccer practice ends, and there it's the volume seems better now. And I run walk to the nearest hobby shop, comic shop, which was maybe like a mile and a half from Eastridge High School. Eastridge, the Lancers. The mean streets of East Irondequoit. I'm here with Aaron Z. Tree, by the way. Aaron Z. Tree is here. And ran to the comic shop, whatever it was in Rochester, a mile and a half from Eastridge, the Lancers. And I bought a starter deck or two, I believe, of Revised. And then went over to his house to admit that, hey, I lied to you. I don't know how to play this game. But, you can teach me. So he didn't know how to play either, so we just read the book and learned everything incorrectly, but we started playing Magic back in seventh grade. And again, this was like the 1940s, because I'm 1,000 years old. And Magic was very simple. It used to be a thing that, like, every quarter there'd be a release of a new set, additional cards. Originally, Richard Garfield, not the cat Garfield who doesn't like Mondays and eats lasagna. This is Richard Garfield who invented Magic, or created Magic, or made Magic. Ayo. Conceived this card game as something where the cards were kind of disposable and there was a collectability to it, but there wasn't a value to it. It was just, like buying a deck of playing cards. But ultimately they became value in a lot of these cards. And as such, over the years, Magic's been around for, again, since the 1940s when I was in seventh grade, so 10,000 years. They became more collectible, and there became more of a unregulated market that determined the value of cards, and as such, Wizards of the Coast, who was the first publisher of the Richard Garfield, not the Garfield, but Richard Garfield's Magic. Where am I going with this? Wizards of the Coast bought out by Hasbro. Hasbro, everybody knows like Monopoly and Clue. I think Clue is a Hasbro game. They're a publicly traded company, and they need to make money. So over the course of these zillions and zillions of years, Magic has evolved from this very simple game to this very complex game that just churns out product at an unbelievable rate. And I hate Magic now because it's not fun anymore. I sell Magic too, so I can hate it, but you should love it and buy a lot of Magic at the comic shop, 112 East Bridge Street, the comic shop. But so anyway, Magic players, they're an interesting lot. We buy and sell singles cards here. I wish it was more. I like just having fun. Like, I'm not a super competitive player, and I'm not in Magic to make a lot of money. I just think it's a fun thing. But man, Magic is it's so overwhelming, and it's just nonstop. And it's a snow day today here at the comic shop. That's why I'm drinking a milkshake, because I shoveled the sidewalk this morning, and now I want to drink a milkshake. Vanilla milkshake. Because I'm a plain vanilla kind of guy. I don't like that at Wendy's you can't get a vanilla Frosty anymore. I feel like that's illegal. Like that should just not happen. Chocolate Frosties are trash. And the strawberry Frosties? No, no thank you. I want a vanilla Frosty. I don't understand why I can't get a vanilla Frosty anymore. Um, but it really bothers me. Although Wendy's, we can do a fast food segment now if we want to. Uh, Wendy's is such a trash drive. I'm just going to trash everybody. It's a very welcome to a very negative podcast by the Comic Shop. The Comic Shop does a podcast. Man, Wendy's. Every time I go through that drive-through, it's a fiasco. Every time I go through the McDonald's drive-through, it's a fiasco. What happened to drive-throughs? I feel like it used to be you could get into a drive-through and you would spend like $6 to $8 to get your hamburger combination with a drink and a French fry. But now it's like I go to a drive-through and you spend like 25 minutes in a drive-through, and they give you a bag at the end and a drink, and they go, "Good luck. Maybe it's what you ordered. Maybe it's not." But I miss the good old-fashioned days of the aughts. Is that what they call the 2000s? The aughts, where you could go through a drive-through in like 5 minutes and get a sandwich and a drink that you ordered, and it was made to your customization. Your customization. I don't know. So anyway, it's a snow day here. I'm trying to figure out if I really want to be at work or if I just want to go home. I kind of just want to go home. Oh, let me reconnect. I'm trying to watch the front door here on my phone, so if somebody walks in, I can end the stream and I can go to the front door and actually do some business and make some money. So far today, all we've done is give somebody $12 for 4 magic cards that we don't want. I don't want. Maybe Joe wants them, but I don't think they were very good cards. And I gave the kid $12. He's a nice kid though. He has a boot on his foot because he was in a bicycle accident. He told me he's getting the boot off today. And I'm not sure if this violates any HIPAA rights or HIPAA. It's a HIPAA violation, me explaining his medical boot. But I don't know. Does anybody have any questions or anything? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep rambling. And I'm going to talk about... Hi, Aaron Z. Tree. The Comic Shop News. The Comic Shop News. What is the Comic Shop News? The Comic Shop News, since I asked, is a newspaper that we get maybe once a week, although it should be weekly, but it's not. Although I think I pay for a weekly subscription. Sometimes it just doesn't show up. But that's 2022. That's the world that we live in. Sometimes you pay for things that just don't show up. I'm a twisted... Are you going to tell us about Aaron Z. Tree? No. He's just here. I needed some kind of sidekick for our episode today. Aaron Z. Tree is an indoor plant that I haven't killed yet, which is pretty impressive. Because I kind of have like the anti-Midas touch. Everything I touch turns to crap. But Aaron Z. Tree was given to me by my mom's neighbor about 2 Octobers ago. So I guess Aaron Z. Tree is a little over 2 years old. It's a money tree, which I never knew what that was, but now I go into every business and they have a money tree. So apparently if your money tree is living and doing well, you make money. But if you kill it, then you don't make any more money. But this is a money tree. What kind of tree it really is, I don't know. I'm not an arborist. I don't know botany. But Aaron Z. Tree, he sits in our back room, and we only recently gave him the name Aaron Z. Tree within the past maybe month or so, and I'm going to say that Martin came up with that name. I don't think it was me. But Aaron Z. Tree, he's a plant. He or I guess I shouldn't assume Aaron Z. Tree's gender. They're a plant. And, it's something nice. Like next door they have, at the insurance agent, they have 2 dogs. We have a plant that sometimes we remember to water and sometimes we forget to water. And then when the plant turns brown, I go, oh, probably should give it a little bit of my Smart Water. Smart Water. Not a sponsor of The Comic Shop Does a Podcast. So anyway, very good question about Aaron Z. Tree. The number 1 indoor plant here at the Comic Shop. The Comic Shop, 112 East Bridge Street, the Comic Shop. So anyway, the Comic Shop News. we get this like once a week. It's a freebie that we give away, and they're promoting something that's interesting. I'm not going to get this on camera at all. Uh, McFarlane and Capullo spawn a dynamic crossover. So I'm just going to read because I'm barely literate, and I want to share that literacy with you. It's been the better part of 3 decades since Batman and Spawn crossed paths. See, I told you I was barely literate. In the pages of two one-shots, one by Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane, the other by Doug Moench, Frank Dixon, Alan Grant. It was an Alan Grant in Jurassic Park. I thought he was a fake paleontologist, but apparently, Alan Grant wrote or drew a Spawn Batman crossover back in the 90s, in addition to fighting Tyrannosaurus Rexes in Jurassic Park. Chestnuts are pretty hardy. I think you're doing all right by him. That's not a chestnut. It's a there's no nuts. I have yet to see a nut on that tree, and I've examined it for nuts several times. Mid-December will see the release of Batman Spawn #1, written by Todd McFarlane and illustrated by Greg Capullo. After staying out of each other's way for almost 20 years, the Court of Owls steps in to try to use Spawn to beat Batman. The Court of Owls. That was a good Court of Owls. What was the Court of Owls? Was that New 52 or was that Rebirth? I don't know, but Greg Capullo drew that one. That was a good book. McFarlane is eager to get a shot at writing a Batman Spawn crossover tale. Look, bud. This is my McFarlane impression. Hey, bud. Look, this is really simple. I get to play with one of the greatest comic characters ever, bud. Batman. They get to reunite with amazing artist Greg Capullo. He's my bud. And I'm able to mix my own creation, bud, Spawn, into the storyline, McFarlane said. These are the types of projects many of us creators in the comic industry only get to be a part of a few times in our career. An Andrew Giuliani chestnut? Sure it is. Well, maybe they are a female. I don't think this tree has lady nuts either. I think it's a... And again, I don't want to assume Aaron Z. Tree's gender. Batman Spawn. That was a big deal as a kid that, like, all of the Marvel artists, this is just, no one cares about this, but all of the good Marvel artists left to form Image Comics. And it felt like they had burned their bridges to the mainstream audience, or not mainstream audience, but the two main publishers, Marvel and DC. And then, I don't know if that was the first crossover, but all of a sudden Image crossing over with a DC property was a big deal. It very much, again, Image was a very legitimate publisher, and they were doing their own independent thing. But for Batman and Spawn to cross over was like, whoa, okay, like, DC realizes how important Image Comics is right now and wants to capitalize on that by having Batman crossover with Spawn. Jonathan, I tuned in just in time to hear you say Lady Nuts. Yes, I've been examining Aaron Z. Tree for nuts, because apparently he's an Andrew Giuliani chestnut, but I have yet to see any nuts on the actual plant, indoor plant, male nuts or female nuts. So, Jonathan Lego Man, a very happy birthday to Jonathan Lego Man. I believe he turned 29 a couple days ago. So happy birthday, Jonathan. We're just rambling. It's a snow day here in Oswego. I've issued an emergency Buy Comics Online a warning, threat to the general public today. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stay here today. It's not that bad outside, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a good excuse to shut her down today, and we can all go home and... Ooh, hold on one second. Andrew Giuliani chestnut rolling on funky lovin'. LMAO. Thank you, good sir. Automod held a chat for the reason bullying. We'll allow you to post it. Of course we allow bullying. Why would we? What? Let's allow it. LMAO, thank you, good sir. I don't understand where the bullying is in any of this. Happy birthday, John, fellow Scorpio. Mine is tomorrow. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday, Twisted's Corpse. Corp. Twisted's. Twist. Twisted Scorp? Oh, because you're a Scorpio. Ha! Twisted Scorp. Jonathan Lego Man. Scorpios coming together on the comic shop does a podcast 112 East Bridge Street where the Scorpios hang out. I'm a Leo. I don't know what that means, but I do know that that's the best astrological sign because I have it. Leo. Leos, of course, are big tigers, and tigers are the kings of the jungle. So that's I'm very happy to be a Leo. I don't know what that means really. And I'm very happy that Spawn and Batman are crossing over again, according to the Comic Shop News. Look at that, the Comic Shop News. Free here at the Comic Shop Weekly. I used to love the comic shop that I went to as a kid was Comics Etc. in Rochester. And actually, the story goes, before I bought the store from Arlene, I went and was living. Well, no one cares about my story here, but I was living in New Jersey, left my job, came back to Rochester, tore my Achilles, moved home for a few months to my parents, which is great when you're like 35, because you can't move and you don't have a job. But I was confident I'd get a job quickly. It was just the tear in my Achilles tendon was kind of you know, gummed up the works a bit. Took a job that I hated for like a year that got me into Syracuse, and then I met Arlene. And before I bought the shop, I actually went back to Comics Etc. to talk to the gentleman who owned it, and I said, "You don't know me." But I kind of grew up in the location to change. It used to be in the Village Gate in Rochester, which was like the cool, hip place across from the art gallery that had like the bop shop, the record store. It was the first sushi place I had ever gone to was in Village Gate and had this comic book shop and tattoos and things like that. But I'm not a tattoo guy that you guys know of. All my tattoos are secret. And anyway, Village Gate kind of started kicking all the cool tenants out, and I guess Comics Etc. moved to a shitty location in the city, and went there and talked to him. And I used to get my comic shop news at Comics Etc. And I just kind of said, "Hey, I'm thinking about buying a comic shop. Like, can you talk me out of it?" And he didn't, which I don't hold that against him. But it was a very nice conversation for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, where somebody he didn't have to talk to kind of giving me advice about how to run a comic shop. And unfortunately, all of his advice was wrong because COVID hit and everything was just thrown out the window. But I really appreciate that. And that's where I first used to get the comic shop news, was at Comics Etc. in Rochester. And I just like it now because the store, obviously the comic shop, 112 East Bridge Street, the comic shop, is such a generic name. And we can pretend like we produced this newspaper. And it just looks like one more thing that we do, even though we don't do anything. We just order it through Diamond Comics. How sweet was Black Panther Wakanda Forever, everybody? No spoilers. I'm hoping to see it tomorrow. I won't spoil it. Other than Namor is a big fish. Turns out he's a big fish. Not a real big fish. Everybody doing the fish. No, he's just a fish. He's a fish man. Namor. I think Black Panther 2 was okay. It was good. Black Panther 1 for me is maybe a top 3 Marvel movie. Oh, I gotta reconnect to I'm watching the front door on my phone here in case somebody comes in. Which no one's coming in. Martin and I talked about, and this is more of a Martin. I'm just stealing Martin's assessment of the movie and sharing it as my own. Black Panther 2 benefits from a very strong ensemble cast that was developed in that first movie that can pick up right where, because you're obviously it's sad that you lost Chadwick, and that's felt obviously right away in how that it's handled. But the ensemble cast does a great job. They're characters that you care about. Oh, somebody's here. I'm gonna go see who's here.
anywhere.
Oh, it was Jake Hedges was here. Martin's here now too. Hi, Martin.
Any mics work?
No, I can put a mic on. This
Oh, Aaron Z. Tree, buddy!
Aaron Z. I'll give you. Do you want purple or you want blue?
Blue.
I don't know which one blue is. Okay, I think that works.
Is it this one?
It is that one.
Ooh, what beverage you have there?
After I shoveled, I got a milkshake. Because as I've been saying,
Why not?
I shoveled and I went over to Stewart's, and I go, and I hate. Ooh.
Apparently this one needs a blue pill.
It's the squeaky.
Yeah, there we go.
Was spinning around too. Was giving a good squeaky.
ASMR Martin, that's my name.
Yeah. So Martin's here off camera. I can give you a camera if you want, but I
No.
don't really care.
I put no effort into showing up today, so.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be here. It's funny. I was like 30 seconds away from going. Yeah, let's just shut it down. And then all of a sudden, somebody was at the door. I'm actually watching the Ring camera on my phone.
Oh,
and
okay. That's funny.
And I'm like, oh, someone is at the door. We do have a customer. And it was the little magic kid who wanted to sell magic cards. So I bought $12 in magic cards, and I was like, well,
That
I
sounds
guess.
like a really bad holiday book or special. The
Yeah.
little boy who
The
just
little-
wanted to sell magic cards.
Well, he is. He's like a little. Who's the cripple kid in
Tiny Tim.
Tiny Tim? Because he's got a boot on his foot because he was in the bicycle accident or something.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now.
But I just thought it was
It's actually
funny
an adult, so.
that I was like, oh, the one person who's going to come to the store today just wants $12, and that'll be it. But Jake Hedges was here. I love Jake Hedges. Which I saw him walk through the door. He must have only been in here for like 10 seconds because I immediately turned this off or to the other screen, got up, and then I'm like, I walked around the store and went, wait, he's gone.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell it was Jake Hedges. I just knew somebody came through the door. And then I look out the window and it's you talking to Jake Hedges in the parking lot.
That's because I was standing in the middle of 6th Street trying to pick what path to take to get into the store without getting my feet sopping wet.
Well,
And I saw, someone had just pulled in. So it was Jake, and he was coming back out. I'm like, hey, Jake. He's like, oh, since you're here, I'll buy something for you since Evan doesn't want to sell me stuff.
dude, Jake Hedges is such a jerk. No, I feel like he was in here for 10 seconds because I literally saw him walk through the door. So maybe there's a few second delay on that.
Oh, there might be, yeah.
But like, I immediately I went to the other screen. I got up and I walked out. I walked through the whole store because I was like, I literally just saw somebody walk through the door. Where could they have gone?
They're hiding in one of the nooks and crannies at the comic shop.
The nooks and the crannies. We're like a big English muffin.
Thomas's.
We're
Thomas's
like
were brand name.
a big Thomas's English muffin full of comic books.
Yep, none of that generic or homemade crap. We're
Yeah.
Thomas's factory made. What else did I miss?
Nothing. How are the roads?
Roads. Utica was fine. Everything else has got where people have parked, clumps of snow, and then where the plows haven't come back to clean up the cross roads in the intersection. So.
Any trees down by you?
Not really. I saw one. I think it was on 6th Street
There
or
were
5th Street.
there was a couple of them because I saw at one point in time I had to wait for a minute or two, not even a minute or two, 30 seconds to a minute for there was a couple tree removal like things with big things that went by.
It's heavy snow.
It's heavy snow. Steve was shoveling this morning, and then I kind of met him out there, and like I had to find the shovel.
Said, good job, buddy.
Yeah, well, normally I feel like we do more, but I think we both were kind of like, we did a good enough job. Like let's just leave it.
Was the shovel in primary closet or secondary closet?
Secondary.
Oh. Well, good thing you moved everything around for last night's.
Oh, I did.
Mega event.
Well, no, actually the table was the other way, so it was actually easy for me to get in the
Yep.
closet. So I don't know.
So see, disappointment does pay off.
Yep. In other news,
There's news.
we're on Spotify now.
Ooh, we listen to Spotify.
I paid one of our customers to put us on Spotify, and he put us on Spotify. And actually, it sounded pretty good. I listened to it just a few minutes
Really?
of it, and the audio quality sounded really good, surprisingly. So
You and your audio quality concerns.
I think after a year of fooling around with this stuff, I'd
Over
figure it
a
out.
year,
but
yeah,
no,
no.
not even close.
You'll never be happy, never
Nope.
be satisfied. You'll always find complaints.
Do you want to close the store early today?
I'm fine staying.
No, let's just close the store early. It's almost
And-
1 o'clock.
and
Holy cow.
Disappoint people like Jake Hedges who come in here despite the inclement weather to get their fix of comic goodness.
Wow, I can really hear the heater kick on
Yeah, we usually have that off.
Yeah.
I'll break his hands if he tries it
No,
today.
we're gonna leave it on. It doesn't matter. But
I don't want cold feet.
I feel like Mark made a comment about that. You know, right at the
Oh, yeah, a
beginning.
long time ago, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't hear it. I don't hear it. I've never heard it. But right now, I was like, wow, okay, that definitely kicked on, and that's a loud, rumbly noise.
It's super loud today because it's about to die. Just kidding, Larry. Don't come.
Oh gosh.
Any good books this week?
No.
No good comics?
Oh, come on.
No.
I was looking at some Batman Spawn stuff. Do you know that there was the Frank Miller, Todd McFarlane Batman Spawn, but then there was one by Doug Moench, Chuck Dixon, and Alan Grant, who I thought was in Jurassic Park.
No.
Apparently that
Is
was.
that how you say Doug's last name?
I don't. Know
I have
how to
no
say it.
clue.
Moench. Monch.
It's one of those things I always look at on a 90s Batman cover and think, who was that? How do you say that?
Moench. I don't know.
And obviously, Aaron Z. Tree has no opinion.
I gave the origin. Somebody asked about the origin story of Aaron Z. Tree.
Ah.
So I went into that for a little bit. And then Jonathan was here for a second. It was his birthday the other day.
Yep. Which he's stretching out for a full week of celebrations.
Yeah, I think there's a Jonathan birthday party. Well, nobody watched this, so it doesn't matter. Somewhere on Saturday.
Yes. Yep.
He's a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, 29-year-old young man.
Aren't we all?
Yes.
Aren't we all? Now, did you tell the actual origin of Aaron Z. Tree or the one that we go by officially?
Well, I don't know. I basically just lied because that's what I do. Is I just constantly lie. What's
Because it's clearly a super-powered plant because we haven't killed it in like 2.5 years.
I did talk about that. That it's a miracle the thing exists.
It loves iced coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Something you can't get at Stewart's anymore.
Hashtag just Scorpio things. Week of birthdays from Twisted Scorp.
I don't know who that is.
Twisted Scorp.
I don't know who anybody is in the comments.
I don't know either.
Like, there's some I can guess, but it should be real names.
No, I don't want to know
This
who
isn't
people
AIM.
are. I think it's more fun that it's a mystery.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all tired out.
I am. It was a big day. It was a lot of shoveling. I've been here for at least an hour and 51 minutes. That's a long time for me.
No, you're usually here much longer than that.
Well, I'm not really doing anything though. Well, I'm not really.
We know.
doing anything
No, that's
today.
the theme here. This last couple weeks is.
The comic that most embraces the current lifestyle that we live at the comic shop, 112 East Bridge Street, the comic shop,
Kathy?
is the least we can do.
Oh!
The least we could
least
do,
we can do. Is that it's an image
it-
book? Yes.
Image, yeah, it might be. Don't know anything about it, but every time it comes in, I always feel like, that's a title I can relate to because that's where my mind is. The least I can do.
We've actually honed it to a fine art of finding other things we would rather do rather than the jobs we need to do.
Yes.
And we have a pinball machine.
But I think that's like, if you're a writer, and you sit down to write, the first thing you do is clean your house because it's not writing. I get that.
So are all the comics in this week?
Identity hint from Twisted Scorp. I attended the Friday night pre-release last week.
Is that a clue to your identity?
So it's Joe Samuels.
No. Let's not talk to him
I
then.
don't want to talk to Joe.
Don't like him.
Uh,
If it wasn't for Leah, we wouldn't keep him around. She's a nice lady.
she's a very nice lady. Not in that way.
Not in that way. Not in a creepy Lucas way.
Not in a creepy Lucas way. What's creepy Lucas up to?
I don't know. Actually, I haven't heard from him.
I
in
haven't
a
talked to
while.
him in a while.
Huh. Well, maybe I'll text him later.
Yeah, I hope he's all right. You said he was going to retake the LSAT, which I don't know why you would want to go to more school. It sounds terrible.
Sounds awful.
School is terrible.
It's the worst. Education's useless.
It is.
It's
I
going
used
to be.
to-
I mean, when the world deteriorates, we don't need education anymore.
Yeah, you
And
need people like Alex Dexter who are just like a man's man. He's out there doing things and like rebuilding transmissions. They don't teach that in school anymore.
No. I was going to make a joke that's about to get me canceled.
That's all right. Nobody's watching except for Twisted Scorp.
I know. I'll write it down and tell it to you later.
All right. I don't want to be here. Let's just call it a day. Can we call it a day?
I'm fine being here.
Why do you
What
want to
are you
be
gonna do?
here?
I don't know. Because I haven't been here for 2 hours.
Maybe that's
And I have
it.
lots of things to accomplish that I could just take home with me.
What do you have to do?
Catch up on inventory work for the last 6 weeks or so.
We need to do an inventory. I don't know when was the last time we did a single issue inventory.
I believe right after we got the new point of sale.
We did one with the new point of sale, so it's been within the past
Yeah.
2 months, but like, I'm sure it's out of control.
Yeah, and most will be caught if we ever figure out how to do back issues.
We're on Spotify though.
We're on
That's the
Spotify.
most important thing. What's the Spotify channel? I don't know.
Probably involving the comic shop.
He did a little logo for us. He kind of
Ooh.
it's the logo, but he put like a little different texty.
Also, the 3D logo I keep wanting to change.
I don't know what it is.
That one.
But anyway, Aaron Z. Tree is here. How are you, Aaron Z. Tree? Silent as usual. So can we go home? Can we call it a day?
You can go home if you want.
Really? I
Yeah.
might take you. Don't tell
And
me.
I'll just be.
Oh, I saw your post too about our holiday hours. It only took 24 hours for that post to show up in my
Oh,
feed.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I don't like that one either.
it's a little hard to read. I feel
Yeah, I give up.
like. Okay, that's fine.
I just want to get something out there, so I
Yeah.
get something out there.
I don't blame you.
I figure focus on individual things later.
Twisted Scorp.
I couldn't find us on Spotify with a quick search. There was too many of the comic shop stuff.
And who knows? Maybe it doesn't show up because he just emailed me
maybe.
this morning. So maybe it takes another day or two for it to, sort through.
But now we can just put that on a loop in the store. We don't have to listen to your late 80s, early 90s channel over and over.
I put
and
on.
over
I've been
and
putting on
over.
like. Well, what else is there to listen to?
Lots of stuff.
Like what?
Put on something modern.
I'd put on a Christmas music, but you'd probably kill me.
This year, not so much.
I love Christmas music.
I'm feeling a little Christmassy this year, actually.
Are you?
Yeah, I notoriously hate Christmas, but this year I'll be fine.
Oh, is there any more questions for us? For Martin and I? The comic shop, 112 East Bridge Street. The comic shop.
The comic shop. It's at 112 East Bridge Street. 112. The comic shop. I should have screamed comic shop that last time.
You know, this is a Rudy Giuliani chestnut tree with no nuts.
I think that's basically what happened after his time with Trump. Oh, I got political, sorry.
Did I ever tell you my Rudy Giuliani story?
No.
He came to the University of Buffalo to speak
Ooh, I
after
thought this was going to be a
9/11.
Wegman story.
No, after 9/11, he
Oh,
came.
when we all loved him.
When we all loved him, and he gave the worst speech I've ever heard in my entire life. It was so disappointing. And this is before he was crazy and like standing in front of
Allegedly.
no, he's crazy. This is before he
Allegedly.
was crazy, standing in front of like what was he standing in front
I
of?
don't remember. It was so. It was like an auto part.
No, it was like a landscaping company.
Yes, yes.
Giving press conferences in front of a landscaping company.
Because no one else
all
would,
seasons
'cause they
or
couldn't
something.
Get it. Yeah. Because the All Seasons Hotel didn't want them.
Good milkshake.
Is that why all those boys are in the yard?
Yes. The
Evan-
fellas are here for my milkshakes.
Evan and his boys.
Heyo. I don't know. I think that's good. I think I'm talked out. Does anybody have anything before we go?
What sparked you to start a podcast?
I didn't want to. I didn't want to do anything else
Wow, and this is the last thing you could do. You could think of to.
because I just wanted to go home. But I'm like, I don't know. We're probably not going to do something tonight because it's just crummy weather. I don't want to be here after dark with bad roads. So I figured I'd just jump on.
And Stewart's across the street.
And Stewart's across the street. Man, that place is sketch AF.
I stopped myself from making Aaron Z. Lee sad.
Where is Aaron Lee? Did they? I think they canceled school today.
I think I canceled everything. Yeah. Because Melissa Postello was saying 2-hour delay, and then she said anyone who guessed today is the 2-hour delay actually loses because it's the first snow day.
Yeah,
Apparently-
roads were not good this morning, but I feel like they're
Apparently, she has a
okay.
gambling problem involving school timetables. So
Yeah. Nice.
probably do an intervention later.
We all have our vices, Martin.
I don't. I'm viceless. Well, I like to watch Miami Vice reruns, but not the movie.
All
That's
right.
not my Miami Vice.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Well, anyway, everybody stay warm.
And we may or may not be here if you stop by.
We may or may not be here. I may just give up and go home.
We might be crazy and just disappear.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey.
This has been The Comic Shop Does an Unnecessary Podcast with me, Evan Coy.
Procrastination.
And you, Martin Z. Lee.
I'm Martin Z. Lee. We should all change our names to Z. Lees.
I'm putting that under consideration.
All right.
Have a good night. Have a good day,
Or day.
everybody.
Both. Afternoon, too.